G'day Ben, how are you? I hope you like this little video, and I hope it's descriptive for you as to this instrument that hopefully will head your way tomorrow. So I'll break it down for you as easy as I can. First up, the instrument will be coming in this box, and it's just got a little lid on it which will be taped down, and you'll have to sort of flip it off. I'll leave a mark where you're going to flip it off, and it'll have the masking tape, and you'll have to take that off, and a couple of drops of super glue, and you'll also crack it off, and it shouldn't be too hard to get out. That's the first bit. Okay. Now the instrument is going to come to you in this form, like this, as the photograph showed you, and so when you pull it out of the packet, before you do that, just put a towel down on a table somewhere so that you can take it out and put it straight down onto a table to dismantle it. So when you pull it out of the packet, I know this sounds crazy, but the easiest way is if you just put your hand in the sound hole and your other hand underneath it and slide it up and out, because it's a bit of a tight fit in the packet, in the box. So the other thing is the neck will come like this, and to get the neck off, it's just a matter of trying to push down a little bit, or pull this end up a bit and just pivot it until it comes out. And the neck will have a little bit of masking tape and protection spots on it, and you can just take them off and put that aside. So I'll put this aside for now. And okay, then after that, just take the soundboard off. I'll have the soundboard taped down, but there will be, as here, there will be one marker, and that's for intonation when you put the strings on. So just take the soundboard off and put that aside somewhere as well, and then you'll be able to see the inside of the instrument and how it's assembled and why. Now what's happening with the instrument is you're going to have this mute here, and that'll be in the up position, and that's to protect it while it travels, because if there's any downward force, you know, with posties being, it's not their fault, they don't get paid enough, it'll protect it, and whatever's underneath the box will probably get smashed, because this is a fairly solid sort of setup here, and that's the direct force on the bridge through this muting system is a really good form of protection. So apart from the fact that the muting stops any feedback when you're plugged in is another really good thing, and also your mute helps you play quietly as well, and if you're not playing, it stops any of the fatigue issues if the mute's on when you're not playing it, because with a floating soundboard where it's free on the sides are constantly wanting to bend up, and although King Billy Pine has got reasonably low fatigue characteristics, it will over time, you know, years, want to start to bend up, and the action might change or get a bit lower. But it basically ensures a soundboard to last a lifetime, because these soundboards have been carefully constructed to do that sort of thing. Okay, so just talking a bit further about the mute. The mute's operated by an Allen key from the back, and all you really need to know about the Allen key is to engage the mute, it's counterclockwise, and to disengage the mute and pull it down to the bottom position, which is what this is in right now. That's down firmly on the bottom. That's just like a lock, and that's with the mute off, and you'll be able to feel that. It doesn't require much force. So you could ask yourself, oh, did I leave the mute on or not? Well, the rule of thumb is if in doubt, screw in, which means that the mute comes back down, pulls down. This system's okay, because if you do push up too high by accident for some reason, the only thing that will happen is the soundboard will eventually want to start to lift off the off the body, and that's not going to cause any damage. It'll just probably sound terrible. Okay, so I think that's enough for you to understand about the mute. While we're on the body, we've got a tailpiece. Now the tailpiece can be raised or lowered. The best position to awaken the soundboard, because you need a little bit of downward force or a bit of break angle, is the lowest position, which is what I've left this in. The lowest position can be found by screwing it in, and it gets stuck about there. So that's not going to make it all the way around, so you have to have it about there. Okay. So that's that bit. Now the other bit on this body is I hope you're not finding this too complicated, but anyway, the other bit on this body is this particular Allen key here, which is the same size as that Allen key there, and that swings the neck. So what I'll do now is just explain it visually for you by putting it in. So the neck, when you put the neck in, after taking the masking tape on and all that off, you can see here how the neck wants to, oh, can you see that? Oh, it's moving, it goes up and down. So it's pivoting, right? So, and it's pivoting against this screw here. So when the screw's in, the neck's down as far as it can go and the action is as low as possible. Once this particular screw comes out past flush with the body, you're starting to move into slide guitar territory as opposed to finer action type of territory. So what's actually, getting back to the neck, I'll take it off again. You can see how easy it is. The neck's got quite a simple system with a little, see that screw there, and there's a little divot below that screw. That divot is what actually holds the neck on, because when that screw locates on that divot, the neck can't come out because the force of the strings is holding it against that divot. That's just profoundly simple engineering, and people, oh, that's not a good connection neck. Well, it is, because there's a massive pivot force right here when the string tension is on, and you can hear it by tapping the headstock when the string tension is on, and you can hear, when you tap there, you hear it down here on the body. So really good transfer of energy down the neck when the strings are on. When they're not on, it's pretty dead. So it's basically the compression here is causing a fantastic connection on the body, so that's good. Okay, so one more thing. Whilst you're on the neck, you need to put the first two strings on the 2E strings when you're stringing it up, and then there's a small issue that needs to be resolved before you sort of put the rest of the strings on, and that is the alignment of the tailpiece. Because the tailpiece swings a bit, you're going to have to adjust the string tension on the 2E's until it lines up properly. You just have to look down and you'll see when the tailpiece is lined up well, and all will be well, because then you can put the other strings on. And of course, I forgot to tell you one really important issue. With this this particular Allen key, it's got to be, the neck's got to be fully screwed in, so that the neck is fully down, because that way you'll feel it firmly lock. I'll do it just to show you. Try not to waste it. Oh gosh, we're up to 8 minutes. I'll be as quick as I can. Okay, so what we've got here is, you can see how this is rocking. So if I screw this Allen key in fully, not hard firm, just firm, then the neck doesn't rock. It's located the Allen key, and so when you put the strings on in this particular position, the string action is going to be way too low. But until you've got some string tension on the neck, you can't really loosen off that Allen key in case it sort of disengages itself for some crazy reason from the divot that I explained. And once you've got all 6 strings on and maybe half up in tension, then you can just simply back off the Allen key until it's flush with the body, and that will be roughly where you'll find the best action. It'll take maybe a little bit of fine tuning, and when you fine tune it, whether it's in or out, it'll be sharp or flat. You'll have to adjust your string tension a bit, accordingly. But this tiny change doesn't change any of the intonation. You still get good intonation at the bridge, so no need to worry about that. So I think I've pretty much explained everything to you. I'll just put this down for a sec, because basically what I've done is I've broken my instruments, all of them by accident. It's just the way it's turned out, into body, neck and soundboard. It's just the way they're sort of modular, and it's good. When the strings go on, it's best to put these these two, then those two, and those two when you put them on. And when you take them off, go the opposite direction, because these strings that I'm supplying it with, these elixirs, pretty good. They don't fatigue much, so if you put them on carefully, you'll be able to take them off again, and it's not a problem. To set this one up, I set it up with one set of elixirs, and I swear I had them on and off about a dozen times, because I was struggling with the neck. One more thing about the neck while I'm on about it. You'll see, I'll just get close. You'll see this little dot here. Now that little dot there is an Allen key, which holds on a what would you call it? A capo. So the capo is held on just at the top. It's just a little bit of bone. And the advantage of doing that basically is, because this is a long scale, it was going to be a baritone, and now it's just dropped. The whole thing's dropped down to D to D. So it goes D, G, C, F, A, D. Yeah, that's it. So if you do that with the capo on there, you've got the exactly standard scale length of 650 mils, and the little capo, the little piece of bone that's just screwed on with one screw, where the screw is left in the neck if it's not on, the strings slide under it quite well, because it's a little polished bit of bone. It's not too bad at all. So and also, because it's only two frets above the nut, the 5th fret becomes the 3rd, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th. So there's only a little bit of issue with the dots around the 12th. And for some strange reason, I don't know if it's luck or whatever, this particular instrument, the neck attaches on the 13th. Not so flash, but okay. Now, last but not least, that's the volume knob. Fine. For some reason, I don't know why, it's the tone knob doesn't work, but you know, it's not affecting the sound. I don't know. Maybe electricity and me are best of mates. Okay. Last bit. Oh, we've got this soundboard, and there are little pieces of ivory from a sperm whale that was not ethically sourced. Oh, that's another story. I won't waste your time with that. The screw that holds this bridge on is locked down firmly, and it will possibly need, in a week or two, a little bit of a tension test just to make sure, because the fact that it's held down with this screw means it's once again a really good connection, like the neck. So that means you don't lose anything in the instrument. This particular soundboard was out of a batch of about 6 or 7 soundboards I made. It was the worst, until I did something that I should have known better, and that was to remove the finish on the soundboard and on the back, and basically have a minimal amount of finish on it, and it became the best soundboard that I've got. So that gives you some idea of the effect that finish has on soundboards, especially when they're really sensitive, like my soundboards. Okay, we're up to 13 minutes, and so I hope this is enough information. Last thing, I also will attach tools, so you won't need to get any Allen keys or anything else like that. And these top tape roto sound flat wound strings, and I'm really happy that you're getting this in Canberra, because I know you'll be there relaxing and having a bit of fun, and I really do hope you can have some fun with what I've built. I certainly had a lot of fun building it, a bit of anxiety too. Cole Burnout, I've been talking to him of recent times, and he's a lovely fellow, and he tells me he knows you, so all the best for now, and hope to hear from you in a week or so when you receive this instrument, and have a wonderful, fun holiday. Bye for now.